Yeah.
Rob's Roundtable. We got the gruesome twosome in the house.
Okay. Gruesome twosome.
Gruesome twosome.
Gruesome twosome.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
This is wide receiver upside floor. We're going to go 3 guys going in the same round, around the same area. Who has the highest upside, who has the highest floor. If you have the same guy for both, these guys don't know the actual list. If you have the same guy for both, then that means you're on this guy. If a guy doesn't even make this list out of the 3, you probably don't like him.
Probably.
You're in like with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Check out the show. We got a new social media guy. Shout out Nick Martinez. Check out the socials. They're in the description. We are putting out content every single day. Shorts, you name it. And this is the first show of the night. It might be the best one. It's before I get drunk. And I start slurring my words a little bit.
Yep.
Just make sure you go to the bathroom, okay, before you fall asleep, because I don't want you to piss on the couch again. Oh, well. We wouldn't want that now, would we? No, we wouldn't.
Get a little
So-
Swearing a little bit?
Yeah.
Starts
He starts
swearing.
swearing. I got to edit him out.
Gets aggressive.
You know,
Yeah.
I do have a stat of the day for you.
Per use?
It is involving Doug Peterson as a head coach. He's been 7 years as a head coach. He hates him. He hates all coaches. In his last 7 years as a head coach, here's his tight end finishes. His tight end number 1 finishes. 3, 3, 2, 4, 9, 7, 4. He just makes tight ends. There's a lot of those were Zach Ertz. Now you got Evan Ingram. You had Dallas Goedert that 1 year.
It was Ingram last year, right?
Yeah, Ingram.
Okay.
I'm saying it's always good. So
It's
it's
gonna
an
be
Evan
Ingram
Ingram
again.
stat, is
So
it not?
another Evan Ingram year,
Yeah,
potentially.
I think so.
I believe in it. Almost made my hot take list.
All right, let's get it to upside floor wide receivers. I got the first 3 names for you. A.J. Brown, Garrett Wilson, and Puka Nacua, all going around that 1-2 turn in a 12-team league.
Normally I would have gone with the floor of Puka Nacua, but I think the news out of training camp this week is less than encouraging. Did you see he's week to week now?
Yep.
With an injury, so that takes him off of my board completely because it has not moved him. He's dropped down like a spot and a half. You look at the average, so he's off. Me, upside, it's A.J. Brown. It's that Eagles passing attack. There's plenty of opportunity. Big body wide receiver. Going to pull a lot of balls out of the air. And I think floor, you look at what Garrett Wilson did when he had solid quarterback play. I think there's a solid floor there as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. Garrett Wilson did it with much lesser quarterbacks than Aaron Rodgers, but I think if he's able to hit this floor with not Aaron Rodgers, a healthy Rodgers, puts his ceiling above A.J. Brown because there's less weapons around, there's less spread in the wealth, and Wilson being a younger, a little more athletic receiver, I'd give the edge to Wilson for the ceiling, and I think Brown feels safe. Devontae Smith's going to take some work away, but Brown is steady. You're going to have a couple down weeks, but for the most part, you know what you're getting out of Brown. So
That's what I had. I had the upside of Garrett Wilson just based on with Aaron Rodgers. Give the guy a quarterback. I think his ability is top 5 in the NFL as a separator. I see a lot of Antonio Brown vibes there. You mix that with what Big Ben was, which Aaron Rodgers can be what Big Ben was late in his career. Love that. And then A.J. Brown is just such a great player. He has his role in the offense. Whether they run the ball more, it doesn't matter. I just don't quite see the upside for 120 catches. The Cooper Kupp year. I could see that from Garrett Wilson. Mm-hmm. And Zach Wilson's gone, so.
Well, that's helpful. I just don't see the upside in that Jets offense in general.
You probably hate Aaron Rodgers.
I don't hate Aaron Rodgers.
All right, next 3 guys. We have Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, and Devontae Adams. All going mid-second round.
This one is difficult.
This is tough. I'll tell you mine first. My upside is Marvin Harrison, baby. I know we haven't seen it. That's why it's an upside play. I can't put it as a floor play. We saw what Kyler Murray did with DeAndre Hopkins a couple years back. He's a generational player. I think we all agree. I know he will be. I don't think you agree as much, Story.
I don't. And tune into the Hot Takes episode. Right.
Oh, God.
Hint.
I love that for the upside. And then my floor is Devontae Adams. It's just I think he's capped this year with the quarterback play, with the offense, with his a little bit decline as a player. Give me Devontae Adams as a floor. He's going to get 140 targets. He's going to have 90 catches. I don't see the touchdowns there.
No, the quarterback play there limits his ceiling or his upside. I think he's the most proven receiver out of those. I think he's got the pedigree, but at the same time, it's whoever is a quarterback. I don't have a ton of faith, but it's still Adams. His talent's going to show. I think the floor is there with him. Harrison, it's so hard to say, man. There's not a lot else there. You imagine Kyler's still going to get back to his old form, recovering from the ACL. But I got trouble believing in Harrison there as well. So I'm going to go ceiling with, I don't even remember the third
Chris
one.
Olave.
That's how little I like Harrison.
Chris Olave.
I forgot who the third one was. I'm going to go Olave.
Olave's got ceiling.
And Olave's got a ton of talent there. Carr can sling it, right? You see the stat, the 300-yard games last year, which is a garbage stat. But
I told you that stat.
With Thomas out of town.
Yeah.
I think Olave's got the ceiling.
What do you got, Story?
I like the floor of Olave this year. So Rashid Shaheed also hurt in camp this year. Kamara, another year older. There's really nothing in the running back room behind him. So there's plenty of opportunity for Olave. And as much of a moron as Dennis Allen is, even he can't screw up a steady Eddie like Chris Olave. Upside, I hate to say it, but it is Marvin Harrison. I rule him out for floor because we just don't know. And he could be an absolute, it's unlikely, but he could bust out this year. When it comes to upside, though, we saw what happened when a true number one, DeAndre Hopkins, went to Arizona a few years ago. He was a number one wide receiver. To me, that speaks volumes about the upside in this offense.
All right, next tier here, Drake London, Brandon Ayuk, and Nico Collins. They're all going end of second round. I have upside Drake London. Again, we haven't seen it. I love it's similar to the Garrett Wilson thing. I love the player. I love the allure of Kirk Cousins, who makes fantasy receivers, not a good real-life player, and Michael Penix is the backup. The quarterback injury doesn't matter as much. Penix is still going to be serviceable. I think we'd all agree with that. And my floor is Brandon Ayuk. That offense, that role, the touchdowns, love it.
Assuming that he stays in San Francisco, and there's speculation now that he might be out of San Francisco before the season starts. That is my floor as well. Brandon Ayuk from Arizona State has been an absolutely strong, solid contributor year in and year out. I love him at his current ADP. Again, this is assuming he stays in San Francisco. My upside guy, though, is you said it was Drake London,
Ayuk, and Nico Collins.
It's Nico Collins for me. I love that Houston offense this year. I think Stroud takes a step forward beyond just the rookie of the year that he was last year. He's got top 5 potential for me, which means that ball's got to go somewhere. Diggs, if he is another year older, Collins showed what he could do, so I like the upside of Nico Collins there.
Yeah, I don't
your floor was Ayuk.
It is Ayuk, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't disagree necessarily with the Houston take. Stroud should take a step forward, but I'm a little more nervous about it. And Diggs, I think, still has it when we have a train.
Game on! Game on!
When we have a train.
Run a train.
Ew.
So I know you had Nico Collins as your upside. You know how many targets he had last year?
78.
105.
Oh!
Same with Brandon Ayuk, but that's not great, and I can't see his target share growing. And he was so efficient. Same with Ayuk. They were so efficient. I believe in Ayuk's efficiency in that offense. I don't believe in Nico's efficiency staying the same. And what is his max target? You think he's getting 130? I don't think so.
If his efficiency stays the same and he has the opportunity for more touchdowns because the offense gets better, Stroud only threw 23 touchdowns last year. There's plenty of opportunity for more touchdowns.
All right, what do you got?
I see the room for growth there, but like you said, the efficiency with Collins and Ayuk, is that going to be repeatable or sustainable? You bring Diggs in to compete with Nico in Houston, so I'm leaving him out of this. I think Ayuk's floor is at least what he did last year. I don't see any reason why he couldn't. Feels safe. I think the upside's London, playing with the best quarterback that he's had so far in the NFL.
The only quarterback he's had.
Potentially.
Seemingly. To the untrained eye, I can fully understand how you got that impression.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know what Kirk Cousins is actually going to look like, and we don't know that Michael Penix is an actual number one quarterback in this league.
There's
So
risk baked in
That was a
Cousins
George
is
thing,
supposed to
right?
be good.
Seemingly.
Seemingly.
I'll put that cutaway in there for sure. All right, next ones here. We have Deebo Samuel, Jalen Waddle, and DK Metcalf, as I like to call him, DK Met Bull. Story, what do you got? Samuel, Waddle, Metcalf.
Gosh. So,
tough one.
Yeah, Samuel Waddle, Metcalf. All right, so steady Eddie. I like Jalen Waddle. I think he bounces back from a season last year that was plagued by injuries. He's healthy, then he is your steady Eddie. I don't think he's going to be top 12 like he was 2 years ago, but certainly a top 18 guy, so you're steady Eddie. Upside, it's Samuel. Brandon Ayuk gets moved, and that he goes through the roof. We already seen what he is, a man amongst boys. The problem there is the target share, right? When you got McCaffrey and you've got Kittle, and you've got Ayuk, there just isn't enough to go around. You take one of those pieces out, and then you've given Deebo Samuel the opportunity for big games.
And what concerns me there is,
What, dude?
is Rob's
You
about
say
to stab
you.
you.
You just tell me how much you love DK Metcalf forever, and you don't have him on your list as anything.
I
don't like him. You don't like him.
DK Metcalf.
Yeah, you don't like him.
Gino worries me. He worries me.
Yep, Gino
I'm worried that we saw the real Gino. Will the real Gino please stand up?
What worries you, Nico?
Geno Smith worries me. You saw the
Is he just in a closet?
the
Just
small window where he was playing elite ball just hasn't lasted, and you didn't see it for a long time on a lot of teams before he showed up there. Now you're changing offenses again. I don't think he's the type of guy with the intellect and the skill set to come in and learn a new offense and master it that quickly.
Are you calling Geno Smith dumb?
A little bit. I think part of his struggle has been consistency. Him continuing to get moved around, continuing to get different coordinators and coaches. That's where he struggles. He's not able to pick it up that quick. So I think they might struggle a little bit up there in Seattle. I got Deebo for upside because of the rushing ability there. Christian McCaffrey's now week to week not going to do anything in the preseason already. The Madden curse is starting to rear its ugly head potentially. Is that offense going to be able to run through McCaffrey like it did last year? I'm not convinced he can hold up. As much as I'd love to see that repeat, I don't know that that's the best way to handle your team as a head coach. But I think run Deebo a little bit more. If they can keep Ayuk there, you don't need to lean on Deebo in the pass game. And then I'm taking Waddle as safe. I get he's the wide receiver 2 there. That's kind of an advantage with Hill taking looks away from him. You've got Tua, who got his big contract. Everyone else is coming back. Achane should be better when healthy. Again, that run game sets up the pass. I think Waddle is top 18 again.
And the crazy thing about Waddle is he had a bad year last year, but all the advanced metrics state that he actually had a better year last year than the year prior, and this rookie year. Rookie year he had 100 catches. The second year he had all those yards, and the third year was his worst year. He's banged up, but his separation and his yards per round run were better. So that's scary.
Yeah.
I'm going to go DK Metcalf for both because I love him, and you guys didn't talk about him. And no, but it makes sense because he always finishes at wide receiver 20, right? He's safe. He has the most end zone targets ever, every year, never converts, partially Geno, partially on him. I feel like this is his prime.
But if he always finishes 20, why is he going to?
Yeah, what's his upside?
His upside is finally catching 15 touchdowns.
Wide receiver what?
Wide receiver 2.
9? 2.
Finally catching 15 touchdowns. The Des Bryant
15
year.
touchdowns. There won't be 15 touchdowns
Oh, well, you know what? I think
caught by wide receivers in that offense.
Next tier, Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, and Amari Cooper. This is another really tough one. Story, what do you got? Cooper Kupp, Devonta Smith, Amari Cooper.
The upside is Cooper Kupp. We already saw it in this offense with Matthew Stafford. Puka Nacua is hurt. Nothing more needs to be said. If they reconnect Stafford and Cooper Kupp, this isn't something we have to imagine. We've already seen it.
And I don't even think it's reconnect. I think it's just both of them stay healthy.
Yeah.
I hear they go out to brunch a lot.
Well, that was the thing. They got to
I hear they
breakfast
double
together.
Dutch rudder.
Yeah, they just wives. Whoa, pardon me. All right, so who's your floor?
It was Cooper, and who's the second guy?
Devonta Smith.
Oh, yeah, it's Devonta Smith. I love this Eagles passing game this year. I think there's big upside play with A.J. Brown and Steady Eddie. I already said that once, so a different cliche here.
Steady Freddy.
Yes, whatever. For Devonta Smith. We saw what he did at Alabama. We've seen it in this offense already. I like the passing game, and Hurts already looks like a different quarterback.
Nico?
I'm not going to tie myself to Deshaun Watson for anything with Amari Cooper. He's a great player.
Tie yourself to
I got trust issues.
I don't think you could say upside or floor when you're talking about Deshaun Watson. That's a wild card in that offense.
Wild card, bitches!
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah!
I completely agree with your Cooper Kupp take. Sure, it was 3 years ago. Sure, there's been health issues, but Stafford and Kupp are still on the same page. I expect them to thrive. Also, take a look at the hot takes episode. We'll have a little more on
Interesting.
And Devonta Smith, same logic as Waddle. The second receiver in that offense, you're going to have the number one receiver taking looks away. You've got good running backs to set up that pass game with quarterbacks that can get him the ball.
So you're both in line here.
Yep.
I'm also in line with Cooper Kupp upside. You can't debate the all-time season, the Michael Thomas season, his season, the Antonio Brown season that he had. That's got to be there. And my floor is actually Amari Cooper, just because I think he's getting hated on. He's a little bit lower than he should be. I know there's a Deshaun Watson factor, but he can't be that bad, right? He can't be. And actually, Cooper did really well with him last year.
And how much is Jerry Jeudy going to take away?
Jerry Jeudy isn't going to play. I mean, he'll do a whole thesis on Jerry Jeudy, but That's my floor.
Interesting that's your floor when we've seen plenty of games of 200 yards of Amari Cooper followed up by 2 catches for 15
in the
yards.
past. This is the past.
Yeah.
Now he's older and he's more consistent. It's weird. He's a grizzled veteran now.
Okay.
Next tier.
What if? I got a what if I want to throw at you.
Yeah.
What if we threw DJ Moore in with those 3?
Ooh.
Does that change anything for either of you?
He might be the
floor.
He might be
That would be my floor, yeah.
Okay.
Sure. There's not
He's
enough
of these guys though.
I don't think there's enough targets to go around or
He needs injury to
touchdowns, yeah.
Nice mini host over here, Nico. Give me the O face, Nico.
Not so many over here.
All right, next tier, Malik Neighbors, Stephon Diggs, and George Pickens. Tossing at the story.
Upside is Neighbors. So Daniel Jones is not on my short list of quarterbacks that I want to draft, but we have seen him perform at higher than expectations in the past. Neighbors is a beast of a man, absolutely dominant on the field in LSU last year. Great deep ball player. If they can, Daniel Jones is a deep ball thrower. If they can connect, there's opportunity for 10 maybe touchdowns, which screams upside. And then who are the other 2?
Stephon Diggs and George Pickens.
That one's tough too.
So while Story thinks about that, I'm going to weigh in on Neighbors here with tying myself to Daniel Jones feels so dirty, but it's
dirty.
one of those, who else is in that offense? It's going to take work. That's
like marrying a hooker, dude.
Wandale Robinson?
It's tough. Is she gonna be loyal? Is she gonna be loyal, or is she gonna be sucking some dude off in the back alley?
Wait for me in the backpack.
Okay, babe.
Hey, who's that?
It's my new girlfriend, Roxy.
You're dating a prostitute?
Not for long. I'm gonna make that whore my wife.
You see Neighbors getting that fight today at training camp?
Yeah, I like that. I like
Joseph
feistiness.
Ooh, I like that too. Yeah.
And,
we also saw that from Michael Thomas. But
so I think that offense is going to have to run through him. I'm going to do Neighbors ceiling as well, as much as it hurts. I'm a Diggs truther. I love Diggs, but with Nico Collins, the rest of those weapons there, it's going to be hard for him to see anywhere near the volume. Plus, he's not a every down player we've seen in the past few years anyway. So
right.
I'm ruling him out, and I'm going to take the floor in Pickens. And a little bit of his volume play there, a little bit of his, Russell Wilson's starting. He's going to make safe, accurate throws, but he's not afraid to take the top off either.
It's the Cortland Sutton thing, too. 10 touchdowns from Cortland Sutton.
I don't trust that offense enough for Pickens to be either one of those.
But he has to get 140. He has to have 140 targets.
I don't know that there are 140
they could throw
targets.
380 times.
Who
He's
are
going to
the
get
other
140.
receivers in Pittsburgh?
Pat Fryermuth.
No, the
Jalen
actual
Warren.
wide receivers.
I know. I named a running back and a tight end.
I want to know.
They don't got any, man.
Well, they drafted a rookie.
Roman?
Roman
Roman
he's already
Wilson.
hurt. Again, you're going to hold that against everyone else. Roman Wilson's hurt.
Jeez.
Even though it's a month before the year.
Who's the other? I want to know. No, hold on. I got the other one in my head. I want to know.
It's Van Jefferson, bro.
There you go.
It's
Van
awful.
Jefferson.
Awful. All right,
sure
my
the audience knows how awful it is.
I think I'm going to go both floor and upside with Malik Neighbors. It's really close. I have a tie for upside with Pickens just because of what I said. He is an elite player. When I say elite, I think top 15 to 20 talent in the
his
league.
body control,
It's great.
contested balls.
It's
But
great.
Russell Wilson is hurt too.
Okay, whatever. Then we have we saw what DJ Moore did with Fields last year. But if anything, I'm going to just go Neighbors both because I feel like he's going to get massive amounts of targets. It's going to be the Jalen Waddle rookie year, which was, 105 catches. And maybe not 105, but he's going to have some downfield stuff. I see 90 catches minimum. Is that crazy?
No, I don't think so. That's crazy. That might be the grossest of the ones you've done so far, though.
All right, next ones. We have T. Higgins, Zay Flowers, and Christian Kirk. I think this is pretty easy. Are we all going to go Christian Kirk floor?
Yeah.
Is that pretty
Yeah,
much?
no, that's
I know.
pretty-
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah,
Nico,
that one-
is that unanimous?
I
Higgins, Flowers, and Kirk. Floor.
Yeah, I think it has to be just with an offense with T-Law, with Chase being there in Cincy, and question marks around Burrow. Higgins doesn't feel super safe. I think Kirk.
Higgins never feels safe.
Yeah.
As much as we've wanted him to be, and we have drafted him as a wide receiver that we wanted to be safe in the past, he's just not safe there. So by default, I think it has to be Christian Kirk.
So who's the upside? Who's your upside?
I think it's Flowers.
Yeah, me too.
personally.
I actually really like Flowers
Unanimous.
this year.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Stay tuned for the hot takes.
Lamar's become a little bit better of a passer. You saw Flowers succeed when he wasn't a knucklehead last year. I think he continues to mature a little bit. You see that offense continue to grow another year with Lamar being a more passing-oriented quarterback.
And it's a narrow passing tree, right? It's Mark Andrews and it's Zay Flowers. I mean,
Yeah,
they
Never
really
shot
don't.
Bateman.
Maybe Bateman. Maybe Bateman.
I will say this about T. Higgins, though. The one caveat is if Jamar Chase gets hurt again, T. Higgins is going to blow the roof off the building, right?
If Burrow gets hurt again.
Andre Yoshivash.
No, I'm just saying, come on. T. Higgins has wide receiver, like top 5 receiver upside if there's an injury, but it's hard to bake that in.
No, not top 5.
Come
There's
on,
zero
man.
chance that T. Higgins could be a top 5
not
receiver.
chance.
Like once you shade number 1 coverage over to T. Higgins' side, he disappears on you. He doesn't.
Yoshivash, though.
That's right. Yoshivash is your
Yeah.
guy. He's your sleeper if Chase gets hurt.
All right, 2 more tiers here. Lightning round. Calvin Ridley, Jaden Reed, and Christian Watson.
Oh, 2 on the same team. Upside Reed.
Upside Reed?
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah,
He's
upside
50%
Reed.
of the snaps.
If
but
you
all right.
so if he becomes the number 1 target in that offense, I know they got a lot of guys there, but if Jordan Love hones in on one guy, then Reed has tremendous upside. He can catch 12.
50% target.
Yeah, he can get 50% target share. Yeah. Well, no, he
does.
70% snap share this year,
it's
a 22% target. I'm saying if he gets to that point,
if. It's
that's
not
where the
ifs. I
upside
hear a lot
comes
of
in.
ifs.
Christian Watson gets hurt,
Yeah, that's an if.
Yeah.
That's actually probably a certainty. But
so
so
but-
that's your upside. Who's your floor?
Christian Watson.
Your floor is Christian Watson? Bizarro, man. What do you got, Nico?
I'm rolling my boy Ridley out for both, man.
Nah, whatever.
Wow.
Really.
See, the injury, you're talking about all these
Injury to
minor
Hopkins,
injuries.
that's right
This
where I
is
was
an
gonna go.
actual injury.
Yep.
Like
Yeah.
4 to 6 weeks, bro.
Injury to Hopkins. There's not a lot of other pass catchers there.
He'll be fine.
They all could be.
Will
We
Levis
don't
sucks.
know. But he's not
You
great.
suck.
I'm not a love truther. I don't know that he's shown us enough to expect the type of play that his contract warrants at this point. Watson can't stay healthy, and I'm a huge Devontae Wicks guy over here. I think there's a world where Wicks leads that offense at receiver. So I'm not.
That's a hot take.
It is, and I left it off my hot takes because I already said it on the other show. But I'm not tying myself to the injury-prone Watson and Reed. I don't argue against that one.
There's one easy answer here. It's Calvin Ridley floor and Christian Watson upside. I mean, it's not even close. Christian Watson has... Dude, he's scored like 0.7 touchdowns in his career per game. It's insane. Like, he had, remember 8 touchdowns in 4 games? I know it was Aaron Rodgers, but everyone's
That was
Jordan
Aaron Rodgers.
Love.
Well,
I'm just, dude, come on. That's the obvious one. He's the best player of the
You have
bunch.
to assume
And
health.
Calvin
Well,
Ridley
okay,
has
but
the track record, man.
upside. What is upside? Like if Watson is actually hurt on a regular basis, then you can't say upside because he's going to play 8 games.
But
That's
maybe
not,
he
that's
actually
not,
plays. They figured
but
out
then,
his- they
but
figured
you
out
don't
his
like
injury.
you don't know when he gets to get
You know what
hurt.
the
That's
problem is,
why.
though?
That's why it's
You
floor.
had that as your floor.
But that's why it's floor because in those other 9 games when he's playing, you know that he's going to be solid. It's the other
get it.
games that he isn't playing that there's no upside there.
But it's also like if you're drafting for floor upside, you can't have your floor guy be an injury dude.
Why not? It's not like you get a 0 when you slot him in.
I get it.
You,
Okay, good call.
what's the replacement?
You
there?
get a 0 and he leaves after the snap 3.
That was a Jalen Waddle
I got
problem.
you
That was a
there.
Jalen Waddle problem
And a T.
last year.
Higgins problem. That's
Yeah.
those guys' problem. All right, this last tier is going to be gross and weird.
Okay.
Roman Dunze, Brian Thomas Jr., and Jamison Williams. Good luck, boys. Good luck.
Jamison Williams is out. He's done. Neither one. Yeah, there's 0 floor and there's 0 upside
And any
there.
of these guys. I mean, maybe upside on Dunze with
you
injury.
guys are not going to like my hot take then.
Yeah.
I tell you this, I have Jamison Williams upside just based on the offense and like the draft capital, and he's a good player supposedly, like just like Kyle Pitts was a good player. And then
Draft capital.
I didn't have anything written down here for floor. I can't say a rookie Brian Thomas who comps to my guy Quentin Johnston.
I mean, there's room in that Commanders offense for.
No, it's not.
I'm sorry,
Jaguars.
Jaguars.
No, there's
yeah.
not. They have Gabe Davis, dude. I don't know.
forgot Gabe Davis is there. Yeah.
I think the floor is Roma Dunze, dude, who's the 3rd receiver in his offense, but I know he's a ready pro. I think that's the floor.
I don't
Okay.
think so. I think it's Brian Thomas for both.
What?
I don't believe Gabe Davis.
This guy loves T-Law.
Well,
Right?
Who do you have? Who do you have?
I would go upside. Yeah, I would go upside Brian Thomas. I mean, there was if Neighbors wasn't at LSU, Brian Thomas
who's
would
your
have
floor?
been.
You don't have one. I mean, it's hard to have a floor with these guys, but it's got to be in Tuesday, right?
No, I mean, how much do you trust that offense?
I don't know. That's why I threw this in there. I think it was just crazy because we're going. These are like shot in the dark, dart throw, upside dudes without much upside.
I don't know. I'd
guess.
rather take the second wide
All right,
receiver.
this is awesome. We'll see you in a couple minutes for some other stuff.
There you go.
And it's been a complete joy.